Hello and welcome back to the Science Center Animal Room. I'm excited to be here on a special day to check out our green tree python eggs. The keeper this morning came in and checked on them and found that she had laid eggs overnight. So we've got the live stream set up here. This is the light box we can see in the green tree python exhibit. She's laid a big batch of eggs. We've had a look at them, but haven't had a chance to pull them out and count them yet. So I'm gonna let you all take a look in the lay box here. We're gonna come check things out here. She is, as would be expected, a little testy about us poking around at her. But given how maternal incubation worked out last year, we are going to artificially incubate her eggs this year. We have an incubator set up down in the basement, nice and cool spot for an incubator. There you can see her. Seeing she can tell somebody's wanting to mess with her eggs. She's being a bit defensive. Get a little peek inside there of the eggs. Snake hook here, and we can try to get a better view of them. There you go. Bunch of pearly white eggs there. Did look like one of them maybe was a little off colored. So we probably have a couple slugs, a few infertile eggs, or eggs that for whatever reason didn't develop quite properly. We'll find out in a minute here because we're going to pull her off of her eggs. Pretty exciting. Let's get you all set back up over here and we'll pull out that lay box. This camera set back up. There you can see the lay box in the exhibit. We've got a male hanging out on a perch up here. There's the lay box. Haven't seen the tokay gecko. Probably wise for that guy to stay away from this female right now. She has left that one alone all along, but now would be a day for her not to. Camera set up here. Decent spot. I am extracting the lay box right now. Just got it loose. And there we go, there's our female. There we go, sitting on her eggs. Xander, would you like to hold this for me? I have a few helpers here today. This is not a one person with one arm job. We will see how this goes. We've got this special box set up. We will incubate these eggs with the no substrate method. We have an incubator running downstairs that has really high humidity. And so we'll set the eggs up in this box here. Yeah, try to get a little better light. I wonder where the If I were a little more brave, I'd be just reaching right in. It may end up coming to that. But it looks like there's definitely a number of slugs in here. try to disturb that egg mass as little as possible. But we will go ahead and candle the eggs after we've pulled them out. So here's our female. Looking quite skinny now after laying that many eggs. Here, buddy. There we go. Happy proud mother. We'll put her back up here on their perch, and we'll keep an eye on her now. Sometimes females can have a little bit of trouble transitioning off of their eggs. Many people will soak a female green tree when she's come off of eggs with the idea that rinsing the scent of the eggs off of her helps her stop trying to incubate the eggs. So we've got her back up there on the perch. She came off pretty well. They get real testy when they have eggs, but generally it's all huff and bluff, and they generally don't strike when you're getting them off the eggs. But let's come back down here to the eggs. So that's a nice big batch of good eggs there. There's a number of smaller ones too. My phone, yeah, I forgot my phone. So let's see, we will pull out this big mass. Stick that there for right now. Here, we'll pull out, this is an obvious slug. Here's an egg that is underdeveloped and off color. So I'm pulling those out. Yeah, but you can hold it. We're pulling out these slugs. But we will not keep them in the incubator, as they surely have no chance of surviving and will go bad. We don't want them affecting other eggs. There's a few more slugs. Unfortunate to see so many slugs, but not a huge surprise. There we go. Oh, one more hiding back there. That's why it's always good to check. That one might even be good. It's undersized. Well, that would be a tough baby to start if that one hatched. But that's all of the eggs in there. Close that up. Oh, getting caught on my brace. Off the room lights. So here we're going to candle some eggs now. Oh, let's close this door too. To do this, we take a bright light in a fairly dark place. Actually, leave that up here, so just to try to block a little bit of light. So we hope to, there it is. I don't know if that's showing up on the camera or not. Let me see it then. That little ring right there is the embryonic ring. The embryo is in the center of that ring. So now we should get a pen. We need a pen, preferably a ballpoint, not a gel. And we will circle that embryo. Goodness, not being very steady with the camera there. We will circle that embryo. Yeah. Here's an hold this. So we circle the embryo and give it a number, and then we'll set it up in the box here. Grab the next egg.
Why do we circle it?
Yes, thank you. Getting distracted looking at eggs here. This one does appear to be down on the end of the egg. So we circle the embryo because periodically throughout incubation we'll be able to come back to the incubator and candle the eggs again like this, and if things are developing properly, we'll see that embryo begin to grow and get larger, and we can tell things are developing properly, and eventually the snake gets so big, the baby snake gets so big inside the egg that we'll lose the we won't be able to see anything at all. But being able to incubate it, geez, there it is. Another reason you want to circle the embryo is because for snake eggs to develop properly, they must not be turned. The embryo floats inside of the egg, or wants to, and so it wants to be up at the top of the egg. And so you find that embryo, give it a circle, and then you can know to keep your eggs just in the right spot. If any of you all have any experience incubating chicken eggs or bird eggs, you'll know that bird eggs must get turned regularly in order to develop properly. Bird eggs have evolved a special structure in their egg, the chalaza, which are attachments to the embryo that allow the embryo to stay stationary while the egg spins around. And it actually, there's another embryo, it allows the embryos to develop stronger and more rounded. It has its benefits for the eggs to get turned, and bird eggs must be turned. Snake eggs are the opposite, and they cannot get turned in order to develop properly. So we've got a few little eggs there that look very healthy inside, have very clear embryos and vein development, but they're awfully small. So if those eggs hatch, we'll have some very tiny babies. There's an embryo right there. I think you listened. So you can see these few eggs are stuck together. When the eggs are laid, they're soft and wet, and it doesn't take long for the eggs being outside of the mother to begin to dry out a bit and sort of harden up. And if they're touching each other, they will stay very firmly attached to one another. And if they've been together a long time, it can be difficult to separate them without tearing into the shell of one or both eggs. So you can leave a mass together to incubate. The problem is if one egg goes bad, it can become difficult to separate the eggs and remove the bad one. So in my experience, it is better to remove them. There's the embryo right on top. You can see, I don't know how well it's showing up in the video here.
That's good.
You're able to see the embryo here, and you can see vein development that comes radiating out from the embryo. So one way you find the embryo is you look for those veins, and they lead you right to the embryo right there. That's another small egg. Pretty exciting. Looks like we have 9 good eggs. Of course, I've said that without finding an embryo here. It is possible to have good-looking eggs that don't have embryos in them. In this circumstance, looks like all of our good-looking eggs had embryos. So there we go. We've got 9 good eggs. And it looks like 6 slugs. We can try looking in these just to see what we see. And there you can see nothing. Just an empty egg. So that's an ova that developed, but then for whatever reason probably didn't get properly fertilized. Get back off. We'll take a look in a few of these just to be sure. But being that's off color, not being pearly white, There's virtually no chance there. Perhaps that could have been an embryo that didn't develop properly, didn't grow. This is the biggest one. Has a thickened part of the shell here where it's darker than the rest, so that had more calcium laid on the shell. Oh, and there's something in there, but it's not, doesn't look like good vein development. I don't think there's anything alive in there. I don't think there's any chance of that developing. And then well, sure, let's look at these three little ones. There certainly can't be anything in these three. Just empty little things. So 6 ova that didn't make it, but 9 good ones. So now we'll pull these slugs out. Thank you. And we'll get our eggs lined up here. There we go. So those are our 9. Oh my gosh. Oh geez, and there's a good reason to have them egg clearly marked.
Mm-hmm.
So when you drop your cell phone on top of them, they're easily fixed. So there's our eggs. And now in about 49 to 52 days, I believe, we will hopefully end up with a handful of little, beautiful little red and yellow worms. Given the lineage of the 2 adults, I'm pretty sure this should be a mixed clutch. We should end up with both red and yellow babies. But time will tell. We'll see how they develop. Pretty excited to try to get some babies, get a little size on 1 or 2 of them, and then be able to exhibit a juvenile animal with the adults here. So there's the female all curled up again. We'll keep an eye on her. If she's having trouble missing her babies, she'll be twitching a lot, and that'll know to give her a good soak. We'll make sure she stays well hydrated and then try to start feeding her well. Because we keep these 2 snakes together, we don't have a lot of control into when she breeds. And so because of that, we try to just maintain the best body condition on her as we can. Well, thanks for coming to check this out. Pretty excited to show these guys off, these eggs off, and hopefully have some little babies to show off soon. I think we'll leave you all here set up on the green tree exhibit. Not a whole lot happens in this exhibit, but I'm so excited about our eggs that we'll stay here and get to appreciate these snakes for a bit. Well, thanks for joining me. Come back tomorrow at 2 and we'll do a tour. I'm sure I'll be looking at these snakes and talking about their eggs all over again. Take care.